Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Aaron.
Aaron is here. Welcome back, everyone, for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. Speaking of which, Chelsea Handler done messed up. I could not believe my eyes last night when someone sent me a link to the latest episode of Chelsea Handler's podcast, which seems to be a brand new podcast, like less than 6 weeks old. I'll show it to you right here. Got just over only 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. It's called Dear Chelsea. She's done like less than 10 episodes. And who does she bring on? Of everyone in the entertainment industry, she could bring on her podcast. And she's already brought on people, big names, Kevin Hart, Christina Ricci. To me, Christina Ricci is a huge name. But Chelsea Handler can get top tier talent on his guests. Who does she bring on? But Scientologist Riley Keough, daughter of Lisa Marie Presley. And Chelsea Handler utters the words out of her mouth, not Riley's mouth, Chelsea's mouth, Scientology success story. And says how refreshing it was after all of the negative things Chelsea has heard about Scientology. By the way, Lisa Remini is one of, or supposed to be one of, Chelsea Handler's closest friends. Out of all the negative things Chelsea's heard about Scientology, it was so refreshing to hear how Scientology helped Lisa Marie Presley get off of drugs and how they were there for her as a community to support her when no one else would. Now, the giant elephant in the room that Chelsea Handler very deftly avoided was actually asking Riley Keough if she was still a Scientologist. Believe it or not, in the entire interview, not once did it come up whether Riley Keough had ever left Scientology when her mother did and her brother did and her grandmother did, whether that ever happened, or whether she went back to Scientology, or whether she's still a Scientologist. I mean, Riley Keough's born and raised in Scientology and is, to this day, a Scientologist. And this is who Chelsea Handler brings on. By the way, the insanity of using the words Scientology success story and Lisa Marie Presley in the same sentence is it's beyond words. Here you have someone whose life was destroyed by Scientology, who died addicted to opiates, whose son took his own life, partially due to his inability to get any professional mental health care because they were Scientologists. Lisa Marie Presley, someone who had millions of dollars embezzled from her by her most trusted, closest Scientologist friends, whose friends and personal staff would report on her weekly to David Miscavige, their weekly snitch reports spying on Lisa Marie Presley for their dear leader, David Miscavige, whose personal staff reported to the president of the Scientology Celebrity Center and not to Lisa Marie Presley. And Riley Keough knows all of this. It's questionable how much Chelsea knows. But of all the guests to bring on, you bring on a Scientologist. And I'm going to play a few-minute segment of the interview where they're talking about Scientology. Riley Keough has the audacity to sit there and just bald-faced lie that her mom didn't really leave Scientology because she was leaving Scientology. She was leaving Scientology because she was going through a crisis and was addicted to opiates and abandoned everything in her life. Scientology just happened to be part of the everything. Now, Riley knows this is a complete and utter lie. Lisa Marie Presley left Scientology for very specific reasons, many reasons, but some of them very, very specific. And I'm going to get into that right after I play the few-minute segment of this. I've told myself that I'm going to try to let the whole segment play through and then talk about it afterwards, but I know I'm not going to be able to help myself, guys. I know I'm not going to be able to stop myself from stopping this thing. So bear with me. I'm going to do my best. I've got it queued up. Now, something I want to say about this. There seems to be a very weird edit in this interview, and I can't quite tell what they're editing around. I'd like your feedback in the live chat and in the comments whether you agree with me that there seems to be a strange edit here. They're talking about Michael Jackson, and they're talking about Lisa Marie Presley and Michael Jackson, and how Chelsea was pleasantly shocked to reveal that Lisa Marie Presley and Michael Jackson really did have a close, loving relationship, and you wouldn't have thought it, and whatever. And then all of a sudden, the next words out of Chelsea's mouth are, "So this is a Scientology success story." And it sounds like they must be talking about Michael and Lisa, but you're like, that doesn't make any sense. But they're actually talking about Lisa getting off of drugs. I cannot tell what they're editing around. I just wanted to throw that out there. So in case you guys noticed it as well, let me know what you think is going on here. And here we go.
So, there's this allegation, but by the time that was in my world, I was much older, and Michael wasn't really in my universe.
Well, when I was reading, I mean, I was surprised by what she was divulging in this book about being married to Michael Jackson. I was like, oh, I didn't, as an outsider, you looked at that, you didn't know that was real. You didn't know that they had chemistry, that they had an intimate relationship per se as an outsider. So I was like, oh, wow, like I found that fascinating. So this is a nice Scientology success story, right? But I mean, it was nice that, like, I've heard so many negative things about Scientology. It was kind of nice to hear your mother helping her get sober, and
having community
and wanting to be there. And that was the place she felt safest for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was.
I'm sorry. I can't help myself. How is the Lisa Marie Presley Scientology story defined by the many, many, many times Lisa Marie had to go back and do the purification rundown because nothing in Scientology ever kept Lisa Marie Presley from doing drugs? Now, I'm not here to shame anybody for doing drugs. I could not care less. But how is it a Scientology success story? And first of all, you want to talk about doing drugs. Riley and her brother Ben, as Scientology teenagers would smoke pot constantly. Again, not judging, but any Scientologist in the world wouldn't use the words Scientology success story when you're raising teenagers born and raised in Scientology who are smoking pot regularly. And by the way, it's not like Lisa Marie got sober once and her life was turned around and everything was great and dandy after that. Lisa Marie kept going back to Scientology, kept doing the purif over and over and over again because she couldn't stop doing drugs and thought that it was okay as long as she just went back and did the Scientology purification rundown again. In some ways, strangely, Scientology's purification rundown is one of the things that sort of enabled Lisa Marie Presley to keep doing drugs because she believed that it purged all toxins from your system the way L. Ron Hubbard said that it did. All right, let's keep going.
Was like the way she would talk about it when she was here was very funny. Like, I don't know if the tone comes across in the book, but it was kind of like nobody would take care of her but them,
Yeah.
So I think she felt this sense of like community and really cared for when she was a teenager. And I think she was, self-proclaimed like very difficult. So I think that, that was her experience. And yeah.
Okay, pause it right there. Do you guys notice that Riley pretty effectively uses the third person reference when talking about Scientology? She sort of acts like she's not one of them and they're just this group over here that her mother had a relationship with. How is Chelsea? Now, look, for all you can say about Chelsea, and I'm not a huge fan, she's a very in your face, usually no nonsense, no BS sort of kind of shit talker a little bit. Chelsea knows goddamn well Riley Keough has been born and raised a Scientologist her entire life. It's questionable whether Chelsea actually knows how much Lisa Marie Presley hated David Miscavige and Scientology 2014 on. I haven't read Lisa Marie and Riley's book. My understanding is that in the book, it makes it very clear that Lisa Marie Presley left Scientology. And you guys know I've interviewed Lisa Marie Presley's brother, Navarone, on my channel a couple times. And Navarone made it crystal clear that when Lisa Marie Presley left Scientology, the whole family left. Riley left, Priscilla left, everyone left. It's just blowing my mind that Chelsea's letting Riley get away with having Scientology just be something that was a role in her mother's life. And guys, I almost choked when I heard her say, the way my mother talked about Scientology when she was alive was kind of funny. No, it wasn't funny. Lisa Marie Presley hated David Miscavige and declared war on David Miscavige, and very overtly and loudly, although behind the scenes, left Scientology and financed investigations intended to help bring down Scientology. And Riley is just sitting here being like, ha, 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 ha. Oh, my mom talked about it was so funny the way that she talked about it. Oh my God, you guys. All right, here we go.
And then she ended up leaving Scientology at a certain point, right?
Yeah, well, she like, I think the way I phrased it was like, I don't know if it was the chicken or the egg kind of a situation, but she basically, when she started taking opiates, she kind of up and left like her whole life and moved to England and like fired everyone in her life and left her religion and her life and her friends and just moved to England and wanted like to totally start over. And at the time I wasn't aware that there was like a substance abuse issue.
Got to stop it right there. Now, why did Lisa Marie Presley up and leave the country and go to England and get rid of all of her friends and all of the people that worked for her? Because they were all Scientologists. Because she had just discovered they'd been spying on her for years and embezzling millions upon millions of dollars from her, which I'm going to get into more detail about in just a few minutes. She had no idea who to trust. She knew she couldn't trust anyone. She knew Scientology was spying on her. She knew they were going to come after her. They were going to try to leverage her kids against her. They were going to try to get her kids taken away from her. That is why she left. That is why she sort of ghosted a whole lot of people. Riley knows this, and she's lying about all of it because she's still a Scientologist. Now, I thought it was very interesting there when she was asked that question, your mother left Scientology, and she gave it a lot of thought. She says, I think the way that I worded it was. Now you might go, what the hell is she talking about? I found she's probably talking about whatever she said in the book, but I also found a People magazine article where she used these exact same words. And let me see, I am actually going to screen share this. Give me a sec here, guys. Okay, I thought it was these exact same words of the chicken and the egg, where she's like, I don't know. I hope I can find this here without having to scroll too much, where she pretends not to know if she left Scientology because she was on opioids or if she got onto opioids because she left Scientology, right? Let's see. It says right here, I don't know if she did this mass exodus thing because she started taking drugs or if it was the other way around. Riley, you very much know that your mom did not leave Scientology because she was on drugs. Like, I can't even believe this. If I had any question in my mind that Riley was still a Scientologist, I do not have any question anymore. I've been being somewhat of an apologist for Riley. I've been saying, she loves her friends and all these, she got all these Scientology friends that she's had for a long time. And she knows that if she just sort of keeps her mouth shut about Scientology, none of her friends will be forced to disconnect from her. This whole rewriting of the narrative of what happened when her mother left Scientology and why her mother left Scientology. And there's no question in my mind. There's no question in my mind that Riley Keough is still a Scientologist. Hold on. I really want to find this part where she actually uses this phrase, egg. Oh, here it is. This exact same phrase from 2 months ago. Speaking of that time in her mom's life, Riley tells people, I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. I don't know if she did this mass exodus thing because she started taking drugs or if it was the other way around. I mean, you want to talk about how to effectively minimize the importance, the significance of your mother leaving Scientology that she was born and raised in, that represented pretty much everyone and everything she'd ever known. I just can't remember. I just can't remember which came first. What was the cause and what was the effect? Did she leave Scientology and then she got on drugs because of the trauma? Or did she get on drugs and she freaked out and she left everything in her life? Now, I'll tell you what, for someone who's pretending like she just doesn't know which came first, she actually ends this segment with Chelsea by making a very definitive statement about what came first. So kind of poking a hole in this whole act of pretending not to know. Okay, let's see here. We're going to go back to this and I'll go.
Aware that there were totally start over. And at the time, I wasn't aware that there was like a substance abuse issue. So it just sort of, to a lot of people around, just felt like this random kind of really intense
cleansing
of people and things, and nobody really understood what was going on. And then she got to England, and then the sort of pills progressed. So, you know, it wasn't so much her like leaving Scientology. She kind of just like left her life a bit. Like it was a escape from everything in her life.
What's your
Wow. So I guess you have decided that you know which came first, the chicken and the egg. She just said it wasn't so much leaving Scientology. I can't believe it, guys. I got to play it again. I hope you don't mind. I got to play it again.
Leaving
what?
Scientology. It wasn't so much her like leaving Scientology. She kind of just like left her life a bit.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Well, Riley, you open the door and we're going to walk right through that door. Let's talk about two of the main reasons why your mom left Scientology and declared war on David Miscavige and fired all the Scientologists in her life. And let's talk about who was embezzling millions of dollars from your mom that Scientology knew about and then your mom found out about. One of the main reasons that Priscilla left Scientology and declared war on David Miscavige was Lisa Marie. Did I say? I hope I didn't say Priscilla instead of Lisa Marie. Lisa Marie found out that a child, a young woman who at an earlier time was a young child, a child who Lisa Marie had known since the child was born. The child was born into a Scientology family and went to a Scientology school. And Lisa Marie found out that this child and many other such children had been molested by one of the Scientologists associated with this school at the school. And that Scientology had found out all about it and had covered it up and prevented anyone from cooperating with the police and actively prevented the perpetrator from being held accountable. That is one of the main reasons that Lisa Marie Presley left Scientology. Riley knows this. So when Riley says, I just don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg, and then says, well, my mom didn't so much leave Scientology so much as she left everything in her life, and Scientology was a part of that. Riley knows that she's lying. The other well-documented, one of the other reasons that Lisa Marie Presley left Scientology was that she had found out personally that David Miscavige, the leader of Scientology, was forcing his own sisters. David Miscavige was forcing David Miscavige's own sisters to disconnect from their father, Ron Miscavige Sr. And Lisa Marie Presley, I do not remember how Lisa Marie Presley had become involved in Ron Miscavige Sr.'s life. I just don't remember that part of the story. But when she found out that this is what was happening and that David was preventing his sisters from speaking to their father, she was outraged. And she came to Clearwater, Florida, to the Flagland base, the big Scientology organization here, and asked for a personal meeting with David Miscavige. Instead of Miscavige showing up to that meeting, he sent his sisters to go deal with Lisa Marie Presley. And Lisa Marie Presley ripped their faces off, figuratively speaking, and spoke directly into the camera saying, Dave, I know you're watching. And from my memory, I feel like I'm going to, ad-lib this a little bit. She might have called him a little pussy. I can't remember. She might have called him a coward. I can't really remember, but I'd like to believe that she did. And she basically told him off to his face via the camera. Lisa Marie Presley left Flag and left Scientology for good and never actually went back. Although when certain things happened and Scientology was going to use leverage over her and try to blackmail her and get her twins taken away from her when she was divorcing Michael Lockwood, it does seem that they blackmailed her into silence and perhaps did get her / allow her to come back and do the purification rundown one more time so that she could try to avoid losing custody of her twins in that divorce proceeding. Riley knows all of this. Okay, as far as and let's start a little bit of a history lesson, guys. Remember how much control Scientology had over Lisa Marie Presley. The former president of Scientology's Celebrity Center was there's Susan Watson and Karen Hollander. Karen Hollander was the president of the Celebrity Center before Susan Watson. Karen Hollander's stepson is Danny Keough. Danny Keough, the one who married Lisa Marie Presley. Danny Keough, who as the stepson of the president of the Celebrity Center was sleeping with a 16-year-old Lisa Marie Presley when Lisa Marie Presley was living at the Celebrity Center. So you now have Scientology's Celebrity Center president's office in constant direct monitoring and control of Lisa Marie Presley's life. Fast forward a little bit, and Danny Keough was such a little Scientology bitch that when Scientology decided they wanted Lisa Marie Presley to get Michael Jackson into Scientology, Danny Keough dutifully and compliantly stepped aside and I believe was even the witness on the marriage certificate or at the wedding of Michael and Lisa Marie. So you want to talk about Scientology controlling, calling the shots, pulling the strings on Lisa Marie Presley's life. They even got the president's son to step aside so that Lisa Marie could try to get Michael Jackson into Scientology. And that plan didn't work out so well because instead of Lisa Marie getting Michael Jackson into Scientology, Michael Jackson was getting Lisa Marie more and more out of Scientology. And they couldn't let that happen. They could not let that happen. So then, weirdly, the now son of the new president of the Celebrity Center, the new president being Susan Watson. I think I got it right. Susan Watson. And then her son, Luke Watson, is now sent in to be Lisa Marie Presley's new romantic interest. Look at all of the years that Scientology's Celebrity Center is pulling the strings behind the scenes in Lisa Marie Presley's life. Okay, now let's see. I talked about her closest friends and associates embezzling money from her. To be specific, I'm just looking at my notes here, you guys. I want to make sure I get this right. Because we're talking about a woman named Paige, and I'm thinking of one Paige, and the truth is these two people might be the same Paige. The Paige that we're going to go with is Paige Goodman. There's also a Paige Dorian. I just don't know if Paige Dorian and Paige Goodman are the same person. If they are the same person, great. If they're not the same person, we're talking about Paige Goodman. Was found to be embezzling millions of dollars from Lisa Marie Presley, Scientologist Paige Goodman. She was taking this money and she was spending it wildly on gifts for Paige's and Lisa Marie's mutual Scientology friends and taking all the credit for it. Friends like Brandy Lewis and Bree Schaefer and Luke Watson, et cetera, et cetera. And Paige was even doing lower Scientology ethics conditions at Flag for having embezzled all this money from Lisa Marie. And then you add on top of that what I mentioned of all these people in Lisa Marie's life sending weekly reports on Lisa Marie Presley to David Miscavige, reporting being run directly by the president's office, even after Lisa Marie had left Scientology. Now, I will admit, I'm stumped by how someone can be so naive, so seemingly willfully ignorant to allow dedicated online Scientologists, to continue to allow these dedicated online Scientologists to have close access to her, to know her personal business, to be in touch with her children while she is behind the scenes at war with David Miscavige. I do struggle to understand how she could have allowed that to occur. But hindsight is 2020. And as has been said, and as I do believe, there was a substance abuse problem. And, you know, judgment, it's easy to armchair quarterback the thing. But it happened out how it happened. To ever use the words Scientology success story in the same sentence as Lisa Marie Presley is insane. And for Riley Keough to be doing it tells me that Riley Keough is on a Scientology influenced propaganda campaign to retell the story of Lisa Marie Presley after her death in a way that reflects positively on Scientology. And I cannot believe that Chelsea Handler allowed herself to forward that propaganda. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, not Lisa Marie didn't really leave Scientology. She just had a drug-induced meltdown and just up and abandoned everything in her life. And Scientology was just one of the babies that got thrown out with the bathwater, unfortunately. Absolutely disgusting and unbelievable. And again, I know I'm repeating myself at this point, but to have that entire interview without once asking Riley herself, are you still in Scientology? Are you a Scientologist? Did you ever leave Scientology? Chelsea knows all about Scientology disconnection. Chelsea would have understood, wait, your mom left Scientology, but you never had to disconnect from her? That contradicts with everything I've known about Scientology. And by the way, just so you guys know, like when I say that Chelsea and Leah are good friends, I don't mean to understate it. So let me just show you a couple things here. If you just Google Leah Remini, Chelsea Handler, you'll see a whole bunch of stuff. But here's a tweet from 2019, December 2019. So 5 years ago. Chelsea Handler, congratulations to my friend of many years, Leah Remini, on getting the Truth to Power Award at the International Documentary Association, is what that is. At the International Documentary Association Awards. You are the definition of bravery and of sticking your neck out. I love you and I applaud you. Very proud to call you a friend. Now, what you don't actually know just from that tweet is that Chelsea Handler had rearranged her schedule to be able to personally give Leah Remini the award that she was receiving at the International Documentary Association Awards. And yes, the documentary was about the multi-billion-dollar international family-destroying human trafficking cult called Scientology. Okay, so Chelsea Handler is not someone who is unaware of Scientology. She's not someone who is unaware about how important speaking out against Scientology is to her good friend Leah Remini, and she literally presented her the frickin' award. I'm also, there's also a Facebook post here from the exact same day by Leah Remini that says, all joking aside, because she plays a clip of a joke that Chelsea told at the awards presentation. She says, all joking aside, I want to thank my friend Chelsea Handler, who changed her schedule to present this award to me. In a town full of fake friends, it means the world to me that she didn't hesitate when I asked. But how does she not know what the heck Fireball is? She'd made a joke about Leah asking for Fireball before the event. I'm flabbergasted, you guys. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Chelsea even said, after all the negative things I've heard about Scientology. From who, Chelsea? It was refreshing to hear how Scientology helped your mom get off drugs. Unbelievable. Lisa was addicted to drugs until the end of her life. And, well, I'll save my comments for other people who aren't here to defend themselves. Okay, guys. I think that's it. Let me double check my notes, make sure I got nothing else. You know, if you want to get, there's one other like 30-second clip that I'm going to play for if you want to hear what kind of BS was on display in this interview. There's about a 30-second part where Riley's talking about her relationship with Priscilla. And let me know if what she says here makes any sense to you. All right, here we go. Oops. Share this.
I mean, you needed another witness there. I mean, anybody would. Are you close? You're still close with your grandmother, right?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're close. We are. She's wonderful. I mean, we've been close my whole life, and I think that been doing a lot of press who've asked about our relationship, because obviously there was a lot of news when my mom passed. But ultimately, like, we have never, I mean, to this day, have never really had an argument, and we're fairly close. We're pretty average family, other than the random lawsuit and oddity here.
Oh, right. I wasn't even talking about that.
Okay.
Did that get sorted out?
It did.
It did. Okay. Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So
she's never had an argument with her grandmother. They're on fairly good terms. And despite the lawsuit, anyway, it just seems to me that someone's doing a bit of a press tour with certain talking points. And of course, it's a press tour because there's a whole book and all that kind of stuff. And whatever, guys. All right. I've said what I have to say on this. I'm disgusted, and that's what we've got. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me. Thank you, as always, to everyone who watches until the very end. And I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click